Welcome to a tale of enchanting music and the extraordinary voice that captivated hearts around the world. Join us as we step back in time to celebrate the remarkable journey of Baby Esther, an African-American jazz sensation whose voice transcended generations.
Welcome to my channel. For the latest videos and wall post, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the like button, share with your family and friends. Thanks for watching.
Esther Lee Jones, aka Baby Esther, was born in Chicago in, or around, 1919. Baby Esther Lee Jones, originally billed as Little, Lil or Lil Esther, was a child entertainer who lived in Chicago, Illinois. She was initially managed by her parents, Gertrude and William Jones. Esther was a trained scat singer, dancer and acrobat who performed regularly at nightclubs in Harlem and all over the United States in the 1920s. In her act, Baby Esther danced, made funny faces, rolled her eyes, and, most famously, interpolated nonsense phrases such as boo boo boo, wadada, and do do do. When she was between 4 and 6 years old, Esther won first prize in a Chicago Charleston contest. This attracted the attention of theatrical agent Lou Bolton, who was known for his ability to identify, train, package and promote talented child performers. Kiddie acts were all the rage in the early 1900s and nearly all were billed as little, baby, or miniature versions of popular stars. For example, audiences were far more inclined to buy tickets for a miniature Florence Mills than they were for a child performer they'd never heard of. As audience tastes changed, promoters simply changed the name of the act. In early 1928, Bolton booked Baby Esther at the Everglades, a restaurant and after-hours club in Midtown Manhattan, where she was billed as the miniature Florence Mills. In April of that year, Helen Kane, a popular entertainer and actress, saw Baby Esther's act at the Everglades Club. Around that same time, Esther was invited to perform her act as part of a short movie-tone talking film produced by MGM. At the time, no one could have guessed that these two seemingly unrelated events would come to play a role in the 1934 court case of Helen Kane versus Max Fleischer and Paramount Studios. August 9, 1930, Betty Boop made her big screen debut in the Fleischer Studios cartoon Dizzy Dishes, appearing briefly as a jazz-singing, quasi-canine character with style, sass and scandalously rolled-down garters. She epitomized the voice and vitality of the modern American woman, and the rising tide of talented ladies enjoying success and newfound independence in the jazz age. Betty was a hit, and the Fleischers quickly responded by featuring Betty in more films and in larger roles until finally, in 1932, she became the star of her own Betty Boop series of cartoons. That same year, in the midst of Betty's rising popularity, one of the well-known performers of the late 1920s, Helen Kane, filed a lawsuit against Max Fleischer and Paramount Studios, the distributor of Fleischer's cartoons. The lawsuit, which would go on to become one of the first high-profile, celebrity lawsuits of the modern media age, claimed Betty Boop was a deliberate caricature of Kane and her unique appearance, mannerisms, gesticulations, role, voice and style of singing. Kane also claimed that, because these traits were so closely identified with her, in the public's mind, the character of Betty Boop constituted unfair competition.
Scat singing is a form of vocal improvisation common to jazz with wordless vocables, nonsense syllables, or without words at all. Scat singing gives singers the ability to sing improvised melodies and rhythms, to create the equivalent of an instrumental solo using vocal sounds, rhythms, accents, and pitches. While there are a number of theories regarding the specific foundational roots of scat singing, it found its way into the popular music during the 1920s through the work of iconic African-American performers like Joe Sims and Louis Armstrong, each of whom has been cited at various times as the creator of scat. Ella Fitzgerald, Betty Carter, Jelly Roll Morton, and Cab Calloway. Among the characteristics Kane claimed were uniquely her own. Her baby vamp stage personality, a seductive woman talking in a childish voice while pouting and employing the mannerisms of a little girl. The contour of her face and body, which are listed in court records as adult female, with large, round baby face, pouting in baby fashion, round eyes, black curly hair, parted in the middle, curls extending away from the head and appearing on the forehead and on the side of the head, tiny nose, developed breasts, curved hips, and thin ankles, and her unique style of scat singing. Scatting, a vocal technique of inserting nonsense words or syllables into or in place of the traditional song lyrics or bits of dialogue, was not itself new or unique to Kane. In fact, it was already being employed with great artistry by some of the most iconic voices of the jazz age. But it was her particular method of scat singing, using an exaggerated, high-pitched, childlike voice with interpolations of the sounds boop, boop-a-doop, and boop-boop-a-doop, that Kane claimed was her unique creation. Unfortunately for Kane, the practice of high-pitched scatting, along with many of the other characteristics she claimed were uniquely her own, could be found in the work of several popular performers of the day. Clara Bow, Gertrude Saunders, Florence Mills, Little Ann Little, Edith Griffith, the Duncan sisters, the Watson sisters, and Chic Kennedy, a Broadway performer who, in 1928, claimed Helen Kane had stolen her style from Kennedy's act, all shared several of these common characteristics, and many of these performers took the stand in this hugely entertaining star-studded trial to testify for the defense on Betty's behalf. Kane claimed her mannerisms and techniques were unique, but, as was revealed during the trial, other popular artists had been using many of the same mannerisms and techniques in their own acts.